This episode is brought to you by the Thrive Tribe. Check it out at chasingbrighter.com/Thrive Tribe.
Welcome to Chasing Brighter, the podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement?
Join us each week as we bring you inspiring stories, expert interviews, and actionable tips to help you navigate the challenges and opportunities of midlife. Are you ready to chase brighter days ahead? Subscribe to Chasing Brighter now, and let's embark on this exciting journey together.
Remember, your best life is just a listen away. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Art of Self-Love, building a stronger relationship with yourself. In this episode, we're talking about the true essence of self-love, what it means, why it's essential, and how to cultivate it in your daily life.
From affirmations to boundary setting, we'll uncover the tools that you need to build a stronger, healthier relationship with your one and only self. Plus, we'll share our own stories on how we overcame self doubt and learned to fully embrace our own self worth and ultimately love ourselves.
Yeah, this is exciting. We're always talking about journey. And so it is a long and arduous journey to begin to build a better and stronger relationship with yourself. I think this podcast and the work that we've done has given me permission to realize self-love is not selfish.
What I've learned about self love is really to go easy on myself and truly be compassionate about ourselves, treating ourselves just like we do others.
Totally. And a lot of books have helped us get to that. Self-love means having a genuine appreciation and respect for yourself, right? It encompasses the idea of prioritizing your own well-being and treating yourself, like you're saying, Kelly, with kindness and compassion, acknowledging your worth, essentially meaning that you take care of your physical, mental, and emotional needs with the same level of care that you would give to someone else. And it is really important, and self-love impacts every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, it impacts relationships, mental health, and our own personal growth.
I want to get right into it. We love tips, tools, and resources here, so let's go right to it. We wanted to break it down. We're loving the body, mind, spirit breakdown. So we wanted to break down how to give love and compassion to your body, mind, and spirit, and start with routines and activities that you can do to show yourself that you are worthy.
Let's tackle what are some practices that we can do that involve our bodies. So, the first one that we talk about, which is obvious, is really engaging in movement, doing
Yeah.
things that feel good for your body, dancing, swimming, hiking.
Yoga. I love Pilates. I make
Yes.
fun of all the time for being a basic Pilates mom. I think remembering the key there in movement that feels good for your body. So what do you love doing? I've talked a lot about 2025, wanting to incorporate more walking. What is so funny, Kelly, is I used to be a huge walker and I used to walk. I talked about wanting to incorporate walking in, and I used to walk all the time. Now I've been weightlifting a lot, doing Pilates, yoga, and riding my bike. So I am in shape, but I went for a walk on Sunday for 2.25 miles, and it was really hard. I do have to say, though, it's uphill where I live, so it's uphill the first mile, and then when I turn around, it's downhill, but I was, like, sore. It was different muscle to
It
use, but
it is,
I
and,
like
the
walking.
reason I'm thinking walking is so good is our hips are such a challenging part of our body as we age, and I think walking is such a great way to keep your hips healthy,
Yeah.
and I like to walk. It's hard because I usually walk with Brian, and he has very long legs, and so I end up walking a little bit faster than I normally do, and so I too feel like
Mm,
it's a bit of a more
yeah.
exert than
I
I would.
did I wasn't, like, present or mindful. I did listen to my book. I'm listening to a great book. We're gonna talk about later the books we're reading, but I listened to the book Dearest, which is I don't even know you don't even know what's happening, and it's scary, and so
Mm,
I was walking and caring for myself by listening to a book I love. Also for our body, we can pamper our body, right?
yeah. It's treating yourself to whether it's an in-home spa activity or going to a day spa, but taking a warm bath, skincare routines. Again, this is all about taking a moment and really practicing self love. And in this case, really love for your body, taking care of your body. So, whether that's a scrub or a facial or a mask, any activity that is these pampering rituals for yourself. Some people consider even be doing your nails or other things part of that pampering. So, think about how you can care for your body.
Yeah, and I think about it too, just when we're talking about self-love, right? Self-love and self-care. I was just texting a girlfriend and we were talking. She feels guilty. She will do something for herself, buy something for herself, and return it because she feels guilty. And I sent her this super long text saying that she's a mom of 3 and saying you would totally do that for you would find the money for your kids, right? Like we say, "Oh, we don't have the time, we don't have the money," but if your kids are like, "Oh my gosh, mom, I really want drum lessons and I really want it," right? You'd find out where the drum lessons were, you'd find out how to get the resources and you'd work it out. But we don't do that for ourselves. And so just remember we've been talking about limiting beliefs too, like that limiting beliefs of I don't
Yeah.
have the time or I don't have the money to do those things.
Yes.
But if you are starting a new practice of treating yourself the way you would your children, your loved ones, your family members, it's like we would find the time, we would find the money, we would work it out for them. So just to remember that when we're talking about a warm bath, skin care routine, hair treatment, any of those delightful pampering rituals for your body.
So let's switch topics and talk about mind. So when we talk about mind in terms of self-love, we talk about a lot of different things, but one of the things that comes to mind for me, even in my own journey, is what I like to call friend talk. So when you are talking to yourself and you're having these conversations, talk to yourself like a friend. We often are critical of ourselves and we aren't so much with our friends. Think about often maybe there are things that you are struggling with yourself, talking to yourself like a friend and responding to yourself as if you were talking to a friend, you likely would say things differently. And so it's the idea of maybe you'll naturally be a little more gentle on yourself by practicing that friend talk tactic.
Yeah, Gabby, my 16-year-old daughter, saw a reel that said, "Don't talk to yourself." It was something about don't talk to yourself. It was something like, "Talk to yourself the way you would your daughter. Be careful of the patterns that you say to yourself." And so that really resonated with her, and so she is, "I am not mean to myself anymore. I'm treating myself as if I were my own daughter," kind of thing, and so
Mhm.
that resonated with her too, but very similar thing. And also we talk a lot about creativity, right? And
Yeah,
creativity is a way to care and love your mind.
such a great
Painting,
outlet.
knitting. I like crocheting. I've been one. Usually I crochet in the winter. I like crocheting, but baking, gardening, playing a musical instrument are all examples of creative outlets you could engage in.
I'm counting puzzling as that too, because
Oh
that's my
yeah.
winter activity
Yeah.
is working on some puzzles. And another one, which is a challenge for all of us, but is such a good part for the mind, is trying something new. And whether that's taking a class you've never taken, many of us pay for gym memberships and don't use all the things that the gym memberships offer. Watching a tutorial, my gosh, YouTube is a treasure trove of different tutorials and resources, or even diving into a new hobby that challenges you and excites you. And especially as we're still in the early stages of 2025, I really challenge all of you to try something new. Just we have our legend planners that we
Mhm.
are using, and it's a lot to be doing each week, but I love it. And some of it I haven't even started. But one of the things in the weekly planner is
Mhm.
each week to challenge yourself to try something new. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be some like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
class that you're paying $100 for. It could be something simple in your house, baking
Right.
bread or doing even something smaller that you haven't done.
For me, I moved offices and I need to figure out how to do that on Google Maps and Google Business. So that's what I put for the Legend Planner this week is like figure out how to change my address on my Google Business account, my physical address. The other thing is like there's a lot of free webinars. Kelly, you and I signed up this week for a branding webinar. And
Yes,
so I get a
yes.
lot of stuff if you have a business, a career, but this a newsletter you're a part of, and it comes across and says, "Hey, we're having a free webinar." That's an example of something you can jump on and join to for the mind. But then shifting to the spirit, we put this in the spirit category of connection, spending quality time with your friends or family when you guys are doing something fun, having a game night, going out to eat, participating in a shared interest, really prioritizing connection with others is a way to also care for yourself.
Also, practicing daily affirmations. Create something that will resonate with you. I am worthy of love, respect, kindness. Start with yourself when you do that. Think about affirmation like, I choose to focus on my strengths and celebrate my progress every day. Or you could think of other affirmations like, I honor my unique journey and trust that I am enough just as I am.
I
There are
like
a
that
lot of
one.
really great resources out there for daily
Mhm.
affirmations.
Mhm.
The other thing that you could couple this with, which is one of my other favorite activities, especially as I researched this episode, is the practice of hugging. So maybe while you're doing the daily affirmation, you're actually hugging yourself.
Really?
There's
Ugh,
this crazy
my shoulders hurt.
impact and effect it has by just literally hugging yourself, like truly physically loving yourself as you're doing those daily affirmations.
Yeah. Finally, for our spirit, gratitude journaling. We talk about journaling so much, but particularly gratitude journaling has a lot of benefits. It shifts our focus. We've talked about in episodes on clearing the mental clutter, shifting our focus from all of the things that are swirling in our brain and just so many physical and mental health benefits. And also, when you are focusing on the positives and what is happening for you, that helps build love of yourself.
Yeah. So as you're going on this journey and we're talking about self love and you're trying to think about what kind of practices that you can start to include and really start to improve and increase your own self love, we also want to talk about are some of those obstacles. We all face obstacles to self love. Many of us are very hard on ourselves. And so some common challenges are negative self talk, right? So, that's the flip of talking to yourself like a friend,
Yeah.
right? Um, it's also just fear of judgment of others.
Mhm.
And the final really big one for us is struggles with our own self-worth.
Yeah. And Kelly and I just wanted to share our stories of how we have overcome obstacles and learned to love ourselves. I really think really began my journey towards self-love in my late 30s, early 40s, and I learned that I'm an empath, and how that was affecting me was that I was absorbing not only, like, absorbing everyone else's emotions, but I thought I was in charge of everybody else's emotions, and so I was over functioning for most of the people in my life, and it really left very little room for myself and the love of
Mhm.
myself because I was taking care of everybody else. I was feeling a lot of guilt if I'd prioritize myself. I was really struggling if I would do something for myself. I'd feel really bad about it, particularly if that caused anybody else discomfort, right? If I came late home or if I weren't didn't get my kids from school or if I wasn't there for everybody, it would cause me a lot of guilt. And I've talked a lot before, just going to some spiritual healers, a theta healer and a Reiki healer who helped with energy flow, recognizing patterns, and then they would send me some books to read. So the books that really helped me were The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, and Sensitive is the New Strong by Anita Morjani. And the Four Agreements, the second agreement is don't take anything personally. And so I realized that like people would say or do something and I would just internalize and take that on and then think I had to save them or help them or whatever they were saying. And so really learning that boundary, what other people say and do has to do with them and not me. And so that second agreement and working still to this day every day has helped me so much in my interactions with others and setting boundaries. And then the book Sensitive is a New Strong helped me recognize that this is a strength and a sixth sense that I have, and she really talks about tips and tools to protect your energy and to be able to recognize, again, that is a strength that you have of being sensitive toward others' energies.
I love that, Jess. Thanks for sharing your story. For me, learning to love myself has also been a bit of a journey, often because I'm just so critical of myself. And I remember even being upset, laying in my bed crying when I was in high school. And mom would come in and she would comfort me and she would say, Kelly, you are your own worst enemy. And that always made me feel good because basically it made me feel like it was all in my head, if you will. But as I got older, I realized that's actually not a great thing, that
Right.
it was really holding me back, and it had held me back in my life.
Yeah.
And, through my own journey with therapy, I really learned that, I don't have any self-compassion, and I'm very hard on myself. I'm very critical of myself. And while it served me in a lot of ways to be successful, emotionally and with relationships, it really has not served me well. I read the book from Kristen Neff called Self Compassion. And Kristen is a PhD. She is the guru of self compassion. And I loved her book. And listened to a couple other books from her. But really, it talks about the fact that we have to learn to love ourselves in order to truly love others. And
Yeah.
it was really, and it continues to be a guiding light on my own journey.
And she also has a great like website with free tools and resources and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Because that is a great book.
And the other and also if you wanna look her up on other podcasts too, after you listen to Chasing Brighter, of course, there are some really great interviews because it's really her sole focus is this idea of self-compassion and how we all can learn to love ourselves better.
Yeah, and I think we offered books that worked for us, therapy, spiritual healing, energy healing, right? And I know we're saying this all the time, right? But self love, if we think about that as a journey, not a destination, just because Kelly and I have done the work and we love ourselves, we still have moments where we have negative self talk. We have moments where those obstacles come back again, where we're fearing judgment or we're struggling with our self worth. And so these are just examples that have helped us as we continue on this journey of really trying to we're talking about today of making actual changes in your routine and what you're doing to fuel yourself and care for yourself and show yourself love, your body, mind, and spirit. And then maybe that will go further as you continue on this journey of getting outside help with experts in a way that is true and authentic to you. As we begin to conclude this episode, we want to remember that self acceptance and self compassion foster resilience that helps us reduce our negative self talk. It lowers our stress and anxiety levels. And when you trust yourself and love yourself, you are better equipped to cope with challenges.
So we challenge you as our listeners to write down 5 things that you love about yourself and practice repeating them every day. And do it while you're hugging yourself. Self love is really such a powerful tool in us all continuing to make a better life for ourselves. So we encourage you guys to also Tag us on social media, share your stories as we will continue to share ours. Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Come visit us on Instagram or Facebook. Make sure to give us a follow. We have lots of giveaways. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks.